Welcome back to part 3 of me and Julia's series on becoming a millionaire. Today, we are going to be talking about why become a millionaire, why you, yes, you should become a millionaire, and what the journey really looks like. We're going to talk about what it's looked like for us a little bit personally, but also what's it going to look like for you? Like, what is it that you're going to want to step into if you want to create this level of wealth? So, welcome back, Julia. Thanks for being here again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes. Okay, so let's dive into why becoming a millionaire matters. I
Mm.
hear a lot of people say, I don't care about money. Money isn't my driver. That's not what I care about. I care about helping people. I care about impact. And there's no part of me that's saying stop caring about people and stop caring about genuinely making a big impact and over delivering and giving your gifts to the world. Yes. But I also think we want to challenge any part of you, especially if you're an entrepreneur, that says, I'm not here for the money, or money doesn't matter, or I don't care about money. Because that's going to stifle you and that's going to get in the way. And it probably, I'd love to hear what Julia thinks, but it probably comes from misbeliefs that you hold about wealth or about money or about focusing on money and what you make that mean about you as a person,
Mm.
right? Because we as a society have really, I know like a lot of us have been taught, oh, don't focus on the money, don't think about the money doesn't matter. If you're good at it, you shouldn't charge for it. And we really just want to question those things because honestly, from my perspective, I think you can do way more good in the world
Yeah.
if you have money and if you focus on money than you can if you stay broke. What are your thoughts,
Absolutely.
Julia?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's money is the resource that it gives us freedom. It gives us choices. It gives us the ability to help others and invest in good in the world. So, my personal belief is I think we need more women entrepreneurs specifically, making good money to create a ripple effect of good in our world, which is
Yeah.
much needed at this time.
Yeah. It's so interesting because as I've seen so many of my clients really step into that and step into growing their businesses and creating wealth and actually having money, I see what beautiful things that they do in the world with it. And
Yeah.
it's really inspiring, right? So, why do you think it's okay and it's not a bad thing to desire money, to focus on money? And I'm not saying we don't focus, that's the sole thing we focus on, but it
Yeah.
can be a focus. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it magnifies who you are. So, like for me, I'm an employer. Like I have over 20 people on my team, and like I want us to prosper, so I can pay them well, so I can pay for benefits, so I can fund their retirement, so I can allow them to go live their best lives. And so it's so like if we get caught up in what money like what that could or couldn't mean, I think is it's giving too much power to money. Like
Yeah,
we are the ones that get to decide how money exists in our life. And
right.
if it's a story of possibility and opportunity and impact and legacy, it's like the money is going to be attracted to that, and that's going to amplify who you are.
Yeah, totally. Yes. And in terms of business and focusing on money goals or looking at your money and setting money goals and desiring more money in business, the way that I see it, and similar to you, but it's like if you think of a cycle, like if you think of it as like a circle, right?
Mhm.
And if you don't make money in your business, you can't put more money into your business. And money is the resource that's going to help you grow impact, that's going to help you make a difference, that's going to help you scale, that's going to help you reach more people. That resource is so powerful. So you stop the flow. you stop the
Yeah.
growth, right? So really when you say I don't care about money, what you're also saying is I don't care about, growing or impacting or serving or helping more people in some ways, right? Because it
Yeah.
is the resource, right? That's like saying I don't care about Wi-Fi. It's like, okay, well, like I always think of money as similar to Wi-Fi. I've heard that as an example. It's just a resource that we use, right? And it just fuels us. It's not that like we have to, care so much about it or think about it all the time. But yeah, you want to have Wi-Fi so that you can get on Zoom meetings with your clients.
Yeah.
It's going to allow you to grow and impact and just a resource,
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
interesting because as money's becomes it's like a big deal until it isn't. Like what
yeah,
I have found is when you gain mastery over money, that's when it's like it just becomes neutral. It becomes like just something that you work through and a true resource. And so I find when people avoid it or they ignore it or they don't want to set like really intentional financial goals, it's often because there's something internally, like in their subconscious, that's holding them back in some way. And then we have to kind of go mine that to figure out like what's going on.
totally. 100%.
Yeah.
Because there's so much societal conditioning around money that, yeah, 100%. Like if you don't have any money stuff, I'm like, wow, So we all have it. And yeah, cleaning that up can make all the difference. So good. Yeah. What positive impact have you seen, like when people stop avoiding money and start stepping into a more empowered role with it? What other positive impacts has it made on their life that you've seen, or whether that's a personal story or what you've seen with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, I think of one woman that is actually like a friend, and she was basically living out of her car at 23 and learning real estate, learning how to
Mhm.
rehab, develop real estate, and she basically from 23 to at 26 she bought a private island in the British Virgin Islands,
Oh
and
my
I've been on
gosh.
her island. Like
That's
it's
where okay.
amazing.
Yeah, I've seen her pictures. I'm like, where is that? That looks amazing.
But her vision was that she bring people to this island to heal. And
Wow.
now on top of that, she married a Green Beret, and he is training veterans who come home that have, PTSD and suicidal, and
Yeah.
they are equipping them to go into third world countries and save women and children from sex trafficking. And that's all because of this abundance and the wealth that she built through real estate, that she was
Yeah.
able to like start these nonprofits and do this work in this world. And so it's like, wow, to see the journey of someone like that just decided that this is
Yeah.
what she was going to do, and this was the impact she was going to make with the money that she could grow and receive. Like the world needs more of those stories.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. I couldn't agree more. Amazing. And when heart-centered people make money, beautiful things happen like
Yeah.
that, right? Where that's where charities are born, that's where new businesses arise,
Yeah.
it's like that's where those things are born that are such beautiful things in the world. And there's so much going on in the world, and there's so many things that, there are to be upset by. And I think when you have money, you can actually make a bigger difference because money speaks. It's a powerful resource that you can put out into the world to actually create change. So it's one of those things, be the change you wish to see in the world. Well, having money makes a massive difference because you need money to create change,
Yeah.
right? Money speaks. And whether that is the companies that you are, putting money into, whether it is what you're giving to, whether it's starting a charity or giving to a charity. I mean, there's a million different ways, but you can create so much change by having money. And so if there's things that you're bothered by in the world, you can think about, if I had more money, what would I do about this? How could I actually use that as a positive, beautiful change in the world? And I also think just, for your own life, like having options.
Yeah.
Having options, that's huge.
And security. I think it's like to not have to worry about like the base financial security, the peace that brings us. I think
Yeah.
we take for granted, but it's just like I think there's different levels that you go through as you build wealth.
Yeah.
And that financial security of building your own way, like as
Yep.
entrepreneurs, that's what we get to decide. We get to build our own freedom.
Yeah.
And then that freedom is returned to you in financial freedom and time freedom and purpose
Yeah.
freedom. And so I think it's just, as entrepreneurs, we're just wired differently, and we have to think about building wealth differently.
Yeah. So I know you believe, just like me, that anyone can become a millionaire. Like anyone is actually capable of becoming a millionaire. It's not just for those who are born into it, or not just those who are given certain gifts or who are in certain careers, right? You truly wholeheartedly believe that anyone is capable of that. So why would you say anyone is capable?
Because we're all equal.
Yeah.
We can all get resourced. We can all make changes and decide and change, whether we have to course correct or learn a new skill set. Like, I've seen people from all walks of life become millionaires. And so
Yeah.
it's totally possible.
Yeah. I love this vision that it's in The Millionaire Mind. It's a book called The Millionaire Mind, and it's by T. Harv Eker. And in that book, he talks about how, it's so funny how we think like, oh, certain people can become millionaires and certain can't. But really, if you think about it, right, if you believe in God or the divine or whoever created us as humans, it's not like we were put through this like factory belt and it was like, this one's worthy of making $1 million. This one isn't. This one, it's like, that's not, we all came in. Yes, we all came in under different circumstances and
Yeah.
situations from different places, but we all have free will. We all have the ability to create, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's amazing. And I do think one of the blocks that people have too, that is they think they already need to know how to do it in order to do
Mhm.
it. And they aren't willing to invest in themselves or invest in the education to learn that,
Yeah.
right? They think I should just know this already. And they feel shame that they don't. So they just keep hiding. But
Mm.
I'd love to hear from you. Like, let's talk about self investing, because I think that's huge, and being able to receive support around that. So, what would you
Yeah.
say? Between all your, because I know you've invested, right? Obviously, this is your
Probably.
zone of genius. This is
Yeah.
your thing. You've invested a lot in many different areas. I know, between, investing in the market, investing in real estate, investing in yourself. What would you say of all things has been your best investment?
That's a great question. I feel like I've made a lot of great investments where we've made money, but the best investment, I will say, is the one that I did early on in my business when I was just cresting maybe 100,000 in revenue. And I was looking for help. I was looking for a way to, how do I grow my business? How do I
Yeah.
be that $1 million producer, which was the goal? And there was a program called $1 million Producer.
No way.
Yes, and it actually made me think of like what we're doing now. Like, this
Yeah.
could be someone's seed that I did all those years ago. And I remember it back in 2010, it was $13,000. So it was like 13% of my total revenue. And
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, like, knowing in my body that it was a holy hell yes, like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to do this. And I remember not wanting to ask my husband at the time. And I'm like, this is a business decision. I can make this on my own. And I did.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
I invested in that. And it was a big investment for me. So I treated it with respect. I went
Yeah.
to the meetings, I showed up, I did the work. And I want to say like my revenue probably within 5 years was at $1 million. Like,
Oh,
of course it wasn't all at once, but
yeah.
it was like that put me on the trajectory. That investment, yes, in the program, but more in me, like, was the thing that took me to where I'm at now. And that's why when I think about investing, it's like I invest in memories for my family. I invest in experiences. I
Yeah.
invest in I still partake in masterminds. Like, I still want to
Yeah.
be around people that challenge me. And so like that was the best investment I ever made.
Oh my gosh. And this is coming from like a financial strategist who knows and has dealt with every, every
Yes.
kind of investment there are. To wholeheartedly say the best investment you ever made was in yourself, was in your development, your learning, your own growth. That is powerful. Wow.
Yeah, I in my career, I see people inherit millions from
Yeah.
their parents, and oftentimes than not, that second generation loses the wealth pretty rapidly. And my philosophy is that they, number one, didn't feel worthy of the wealth,
Yeah.
and they also didn't become who you need to become to hold and sustain and
Mm,
maintain wealth. And
yeah.
so it's like you can't shortcut it. Like you
Yeah.
have to upgrade the identity. You have to become the millionaire be first before
Yeah.
you get the money. And so it's just really powerful, the lessons that I've witnessed in my business and through my clients. And it's just really like it really is, the identity and who we become is so much more important than the money.
Yeah. So was that a mastermind that you did, the multiplier, the millionaire
I think
multiplier?
that was before masterminds were even popular.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't call it, but it was like, yeah, it was like a group of business owners that got together, and there was a leader that
Yep.
taught strategy. I think the identity part, like I had to pick up later. It
Yeah.
was more like the strategy. And then it's like, but I think the powerful thing about what we're doing is it is both.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I had both earlier, it would have
Yeah.
been like much more explosive than it was. But, it's the way it goes.
Yeah, still, yeah. It's so
Yeah.
interesting because I would say my very best investment, I talk about it all the time, but was 100% my first coach, who was a high level coach. She was $8,000 and I was in the red in my business. So it really did not make logical sense. I mean, it really didn't, but I had this gut knowing that this would make a difference. This is what I need. And if I really want to do this work in the world as a coach, I have to clean this up, right? And I knew I had inner work to do. So mine was
Mm,
actually more inner work that I did, but in terms of shifting my relationship with money and all of that. But I literally sold, like, because I didn't have money. Like, I was in the red in my business. I sold my Prius, took it to CarMax, sold it to invest. That was my best investment, hands
wow.
down, because what happens, like you said, when you invest in that way, it ignites it's not only you're investing, but you're making a decision that you're about to expand and shift in such a big way.
Yeah.
And that investment, even though we could say, oh yeah, that year wasn't the year that I made the most money in the world, but that's where I grew to
Yeah.
where I could continue growing, and then I could multiply that. And it allowed me to step into who I am now. So yeah, it's amazing. So I do want to touch on just like kind of for people who are like, I want to become a millionaire. What's the process here, right? Not that we're going to give you a how-to, but let's touch on a little bit of what we believe it takes. And we already talked, number one, about self-investment and making a decision that this is who you want to become and stepping into that identity.
Hmm.
And also having the structure and just learning about finances. Throughout the past couple episodes, we've been talking also about not avoiding your money.
Yeah.
What else would you say? Is there anything that you want to share around the becoming of who you need to become, what you want to focus on if this is the work that you want to do? Let's say in
Yeah.
2026, if you decide you want to step into millionaire status.
Yeah, like, what's coming to mind is like the first is the deciding, right? It's like
Mhm.
you're to decide, which is to invest in yourself, to cut off all other options. And then with that commitment comes the capability. Like that's what we're going to do with this mastermind is we're going
Yeah.
to teach the strategy. We're going to talk about the mindset. We're going to look at the identity and what's going on in your subconscious and the stories. And I think that is the work that builds the capability and the courage to move forward and do things differently. Like,
Yeah.
and that's getting outside your comfort zone. I think, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. And
Yeah.
so it's like being a little bit uncomfortable and having the courage to do things differently. And that is a rewiring. And that
Yeah.
actually is what lands you at confidence. Like a lot of
Yeah.
us want the confidence first before we're going to say yes to something or before we're going to make an investment or start a business. But the
Yep.
confidence is the result of doing all of that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what I'm seeing is these women at the end of the 6 months that they're changed, they're transformed, they're
Yeah.
confident in who becoming a millionaire.
Yeah. And they're in Maui with us celebrating. Totally.
I
But
love it.
yeah, I completely agree with you. And I would add one more thing that I think is just so important. And this was just work I really had to do. And what, a lot of clients work with me on is the reprogramming of your relationship with money and the thoughts that you
Mhm.
think about money and the perspectives that you hold. I see such a open, like if you want to become a millionaire, that's probably work that you'll want to do. You're going to want to do the inner work and learn the strategy and the structure, right? Because you can't hold beliefs that money is bad, that I feel guilty if I want money, or I can't focus on money, or beliefs like money is scary or it's not for me. If you hold those beliefs, even though if they're not like what your conscious mind is telling you, if you're holding those in your subconscious and trying to make money, it's going to feel like you are a hamster on a hamster wheel
Yeah.
going and just, why am I not doing this? And so I think some of the powerful work I'm so excited to do with our entrepreneurs is going to be to help them start see what maybe those blocks are and help them shift it and help them
Yeah.
really break through that. Because oh my gosh, it's so fun to see how when you do the inner work, it reflects on the outer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. It's like your inner wealth creates and generates that outer wealth. And
Yeah.
so there's so much that starts within.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about, if people are interested, let's talk about who this would be perfect for, this mastermind. Let's say people have been listening to our series the past 3 weeks and say, heck yeah, like 2026, let's go. I want to invest in myself. I'm ready. I'm ready to become a millionaire. I'm ready to create more impact. I want to scale my business. I also want to multiply the money that I have and learn how to do that. And it just feels like a yes for them. Who would you say is the right person for the mastermind?
I feel like they're going to listen to this and know that.
Yeah,
Like, so
I agree with that.
yeah, absolutely. But I think like we're passionate about helping women entrepreneurs. We also want them to feel like they're at a right place and that they can invest and that they want to be all in on this with us.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's the key. Yep. Wanting it to be your focus for 2020, or one of your focuses. Like one of the primary focuses is stepping into this evolution, into this growth and doing this work along with us and the entire, oh my gosh, we both manifest the most amazing humans. So this group is going to be incredible. I just know it. And being able to make friends along the way with fellow millionaires and, fellow millionaire women who are in business. I just think it's going to be magical. And I'm so excited. So if these episodes have resonated for you and you want to learn more and do the inner and the outer work and just learn from both Julia and I, you are welcome to apply because we are kicking off in 2026 and we are going to have the best time.
yeah,
Any final thoughts, Julia?
Yeah, I just think that it's just going to be just an amazing experience because I know both of our hearts like are in this to
Yeah.
really help these women. And I'm typically just work one-on-one with entrepreneurs. And so this is to me is like a really exciting container, if you will, to like,
Yep.
help learn from each other and then also like hold the container of accountability and make sure that they show up for themselves because it's hard, right? Like
Yeah.
life's going to happen. There's
Yep.
going to be other priorities that come in, but it's like that's why I like that this is 6 months because it gives us time and it's really important the energy that we're all bringing to it and honoring that commitment. So
Yeah. And one of our intentions is to make this fun, to make money fun, to make money dates fun. And
absolutely.
right, you'll hear structure and strategy and accountability, which we're infusing with the energetics. But the beautiful thing about the work that we do is that it's not harsh and restrictive. And I'm so excited to bring joy and fun to the journey of growing into that and learning how to enjoy that process. So I can't wait, Julia. So thank
Me
you
too.
so much for being here. I can't wait to do this with you. And if you're listening and you resonate, you can apply in the show notes. We will have the application right in there if it feels like a yes.